What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Ren's favorite nerd, and the reason why I say that is because I know it's Kylo of Ren and all this business, but for the sake of this review, we're just going to call him Kylo Ren because that's what I've gotten used to. So let's look at the two of these guys separately, and then we'll come back for some final thoughts. Alright, so we'll start with him. He comes with this accessory. The sculpt and all that stuff looks okay. A little warped there. Hot water should fix that. And this does unplug if you just want the hilt. But he doesn't have like a place on his belt to plug it in or anything, so he would just have to hold the hilt. And then you can just plug it back in and have his lightsaber, which is just a semi-translucent red. It might not even be translucent. I can't really tell, but it's, I can't tell. It doesn't. If it is, it's very slight. And down here we got a lot of paint. We got washes. Actually, it might be black plastic with silver dry brushed on it. And that gold is painted there. Just that little piece of gold. It's crazy. And then this red tip down there. So a well done accessory. I would have liked for a little bit more love with the blade, but whatever, it's fine. It does have like the little ridges and all that to kind of give it the more like violent looking blade like we've seen in the trailers, the dark side and the light, all that business. Up here we have him. And his cloak uses real cloth. I like it. It's also longer than average. Like it's longer than it theoretically should be. So when you sit him on a shelf, it gives it a lot of depth and character, and I love that kind of stuff. It has these weird things, just the way it was sewn or whatever, or the type of fabric or material, and then it's stitched all the way up, so it's through there. And then it has this soft piece of plastic over top, and overall it does look really good. Have to give it to him. The hood is well sewn, and like it gives like that big. A lot of times when they do hoods, they don't sew it right, but this looks very good. So kudos to them for that. You can fold it back a little bit, and then but you just have to kind of cheat and wrap it as best you can. Then it doesn't look as good. Very Vader-esque helmet, wouldn't you say? Just saying. Silver is painted, in all things considered, very well. Over top of the black. We go out of the lines a bit on this side. This side's almost perfect. So fairly good to go. I like it. The arms are all sculpted with this like ridged material, not unlike Vader-esque, if you know what I'm saying. It's on a ball hinge shoulder. Articulation is somewhat hindered by this, but not very poorly. It's soft enough where you can get it up a fair amount. Also, if you notice, the torso is also sculpted with this material, which they really didn't have to do because this cloak covers it all. So that was an extra step, and I appreciate stuff like that. No bicep swivel, but you get the swivel just above the elbow. Elbow hinges to 90 degrees, no problem. Wrist is on a swivel. I thought it was hinged, but it's not. Oh, yes, it is. It's hinged up and down, which is just A-okay when it comes to a blade. It's even better with a gun, but it's okay. Like if you have a gun, you can kind of, get like your Call of Duty hand pose. But this will let you, put the blade straight out with a dynamic pose and stuff. So that's okay. Same articulation on the other side, and this wrist is also hinged this way. They're both blade holding hands, and the blade doesn't fit in them quite right. You see, he's not going to drop it or anything. But it doesn't fit securely. This hand may be better. Yeah, this hand is better. Not perfect, but definitely better. But that's his left hand. So unless you have him holding it with both hands, which is relatively difficult to make look good, but not impossible, it's not optimal. I wish it would have come with an alternate hand too, like like he does that in the trailer. I wish it would have came with that hand for that purpose, but can't win them all. This is a sculpted belt, soft piece of plastic floating over top. The inside cloak type thing is all sculpted with that same ridged material, and then the pelvis and pants are all just kind of generic cloth pants and pelvis. The hips are on ball joints, get you out to there, forward to there. These little hip skirts are not a problem, and back to there. So that's all good. Double jointed elbow, double jointed knee, that's fine. And then foot tilt, getting you up a good bit, back a good bit. Rockers built in, and the boots themselves are a more glossy finish, so that looks good as well. So overall, this is a pretty good figure. Have to give it to him. He comes with 2 accessories. This gun, which is problematic because of the sculpt and the articulation. He can't really hold it a cool way. You can have the other hand come up underneath, but because of the elbows, he's always holding it almost parallel to his body and a good distance away from him, so that just kind of sucks. And there's no holster or any place to plug this in. It is a white plastic with the black painted on that looks good enough, and then silver's painted on as well. This handgun here fits in his hand okay, but not well, just fair. And then same for the other side. And then he has 2 trigger finger hands, but you would never hold both those guns at the same time. It just looks silly, so that was a poor choice as well. This does plug in to his side hip here, and it plugs in fairly well and keeps it secure and has a place to go, so that's cool. For the figure, not my favorite. The plastic feels softer than this one, I will tell you that immediately. There's a number of things that that other one does better than this one too, but let's look at this one. So it's on a ball hinged head, but I don't think you get much use out of the hinge, and the ball joint works okay. You don't need a whole lot of articulation with a Stormtrooper head anyway, so it works good enough. The black paint and stuff is all done in well. There's lots of little details and all that kind of stuff, and all that stuff is sculpted, and there's like textures right up in there, and it looks good. Line work and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff looks good. No problems there. The torso, great ball joint. Fantastic. Get you the swivel, get you side to side. It works perfectly. It hides the sculpt. It hides the gap. It's well placed. The armor ridge looks right. It's all good. All that stuff is done well. The black paint everywhere is also done well. The belt is a floating... Nope, the belt is attached. Actually... Nope, it's floating. It's just really secure, and that's fine. Black piece with white painted on. The white generally looks good across the board. Doesn't quite match this white though, but it's close enough. It does. It won't bother you. Shoulders are on ball hinges, but because of this shoulder armor, you only get to there. So that sucks. It's pretty much entirely worthless. This guy is much better, but this guy even got a little bit more, and that was one of my complaints with him. So, not the best. No bicep swivel. The swivel at this guy is above the elbow, which is okay, except that you see the cut of the elbow joint? It's just not well placed. It's too close to this. It should be centered. So when you go to bend the elbow, you only get it to there because the plastic hits this other piece, and you can't get the full bend. Look at the range of motion on that elbow. That's it. That's the full thing. Look at that one, 90 degrees, no problem. That's just, that's a design, that's like, it looks like a flaw. It's just stupid. So you can't really get out to the side. You can't bend his elbow past to here. He's stuck like a mannequin. Laura, you know my elbows only reach but this far. Inconsiderate. The wrist is on a hinged swivel, so you get the back and forth here with the gun, which is fine, and then the swivel works just fine. And then T-jointed ball joints for hips, they only go out to there, which is okay, I think, for Stormtroopers. Forward you get to there. Double jointed elbows, knee looks a little wonky, but not terrible. And thigh swivels right there, and that's a good cut design-wise. That works well. And all the ridges in there is all sculpted, so that's cool. Foot is on a hinge and rocker, so that works well. Black paint at the bottom is applied nicely. So that's that guy in a nutshell. Final thoughts wise, I would pick up Kylo Ren. He's a good figure. I enjoy him quite a lot. I think there's a lot of love went into him, and I think that maybe they knew he was going to be like a cool kind of sought after character, so they might have put a little extra attention into him. But it definitely does show. I don't really have any complaints with him at all. to be honest, except for his hand choices. Just one extra hand, and that would have solved that for me, and maybe a little bit of extra paint or love in the blade, and that would have solved that for me. The Stormtrooper, the new Stormtrooper, whatever it is, First Order, whatever, is a nightmare. It's a poorly done toy. Its articulation is so limited in the upper body that it's a real shame, because there's some things that it did right. The legs are fine. The torso articulation is pretty much perfect. The sculpt work and all that stuff is nice. The elbows make me very upset. So anyway, I'd grab the Ren if you find him. If you're a Stormtrooper nut, go ahead and get him. He's going to sit on a shelf like this, and he'll be okay. He's definitely not as good as the previous release, but I guess he'll do. I don't know. He's really poorly done. But definitely grab the Ren if you're even slightly interested. I highly recommend him. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. One more time.
It's hard to give me more.
It was perfect. Don't laugh.
Okay.
That's the worst possible scenario.
Oh.
Laura. Laura. God damn it. Just don't laugh.